When we talk about the economy and our current recession, we use big, long-established numbers. The unemployment rate, gross domestic product, the Dow Jones average. But ultimately, those numbers affect people on a small scale in very real ways all across this country. And that is the focus of tonight's Weekend Journal. As we enter 2010, a visit to one block in one American town to see how 4 families are coping.
I haven't seen fear like this about money in my entire lifetime.
Jen Singer lives on an upper middle class block in central New Jersey. But these days, 6 of her 15 neighbors are out of work.
We don't feel like the recession is over here in my street.
Jen is a freelance writer. Her husband Pete still brings home a steady paycheck, but they're playing it safe this holiday season, spending less and saving more.
What's to drink? There's water, and there's water. The other day I got a package. It had some tissue paper in it. I actually took it out and put it upstairs and thought, my God, I'm turning into my grandmother.
A few doors down, the Davins are down to 1 salary. Brian Davin lost his job last spring. Grace Davin works from home, but with 4 college-bound kids and a hefty mortgage, money is tight. How much of this do the kids understand?
I think the older ones really get it.
They end up buying their own school clothes this year with their own babysitting money.
Without extra money for entertainment, they're spending more time together at home, chipping in on little chores like painting signs for Cub Scouts or creating a home theater.
It's turned into something fun that the kids have enjoyed. We've done family movie nights now. And the kids love it. They're like, this is great. You know, can we do this again next week?
But the grinding reality is the job hunt is tough, and a near miss can really sting.
Well, it's hard to watch when you see your husband getting excited and then he gets a phone call that it wasn't, he wasn't chosen, and it's got to be disappointing for him, and you feel for him.
Next-door neighbor Bob Schroet saw his job loss as an opportunity. After 28 years in corporate America, he dug into his savings and bought a toy store.
It's changed your job, it's changed your family, changed your marriage, it's changed everything.
Yes, very much so.
It was a bold move, especially since the layoff, he says, felt like a seismic event.
There was a moment of a lot of disbelief on my part when it did happen, and
After 28 years.
yes, it's hard to believe, and it really rips your soul out and takes your identity away for a period of time.
Bob's wife Janet was a stay-at-home mother. Now she's still in charge of the house and kids.
And they should begin any day, yeah.
But she's also a full-time partner in the business.
I have 0 downtime.
And 0 time just for yourself.
I have no time for myself at all anymore. Any free time I have, if my kids are awake, I try to spend time with them because I have the mom guilt now.
Across the street, Aisha and Anthony Locasio are both working, but it's been a year of constant anxiety.
How you doing? Sometimes I find myself waking up in the middle of the night and, wow, what if this happens? And that's when I have to calm down and just focus one day at a time.
I think back to my grandmother. When I was younger, I used to look at how she would pinch every penny. She'd dilute the soaps, and I'm kind of starting to think in those ways now.
Parenting will be less competitive if you can't afford to put your kid on the $5,000 ice hockey team that sends them to Canada every other weekend. Maybe that's a good thing.
Our parents did this with twice as many children as we did, or more. Yeah. And they made it happen. When you hear the stories of other families that are in much more difficult situations than you are, you can't help but say, you know what, we can get through this.
The current unemployment rate is 10%. Most economists believe it will take 5 years before the economy returns to a normal unemployment rate of 5%.